Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Cowboy Roundup, Overshown flashes potential, vet embraces expectations. The latest Dallas Cowboys news for Wednesday. In this story. Happy Wednesday, Cowboys Nation. The first padded practice is in the books as we close out the month of July, and we are nearing in on the start of the preseason. With plenty of storylines to follow as training camp continues in Oxnard, let's jump right into things and check out some of the headlines making the rounds. Indulge. DeMarvion Overshown flashes his immense potential. It's Pads Day, baby. It's Pads Day. DeMarvion Overshown. Second-year linebacker DeMarvion Overshown showed up to the first day of padded practice ready to hit someone. While he didn't lay the lumber, he did show flashes of brilliance that should have the Cowboys faithful excited. Overshown showed incredible quickness off of the line and was consistently disrupting the backfield. Blogging the Boys has more footage from Overshown's impressive day. Eric Kendricks embraces high expectations. Veteran linebacker Eric Kendricks was brought in to anchor new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer's defense. Kendricks will serve as the team's defensive play caller. Kendricks is familiar with Zimmer from their time in Minnesota, and he's excited to deliver the same stout defense they had with the Vikings. I feel like Zim is very detailed, and you know what he's expecting from you, Kendricks said. And it's about coming out and delivering that. Having a high expectation is never a bad thing. With Sam Williams out of the lineup, the Dallas Cowboys' second-round pick is committed to stepping up. Sam Williams going down in practice with a torn ACL and MCL was a devastating blow for both the young pass rusher and the Dallas Cowboys, and it also thrusts rookie second-round pick Marshon Kneeland onto center stage as the lead horse in the race to try and replace Williams. Kneeland is not naive to that reality. It's a tough loss that we have with him, great player and a great person, Kneeland said of Williams. I've got to step up. I've got to be ready, that much more, and take all of it seriously. I've got to step it up a notch. It's still the same mindset, helping the team out as much as possible, but now I know there's more on my back. Off to a solid start to his first ever NFL training camp, Kneeland has now seen reps both on the edge and on the interior at 3 tech, right of center, in certain sets. Mike Zimmer, newly returned defensive coordinator, is testing Kneeland's versatility in the scheme but, make no mistake about it, the loss of Williams will pencil Kneeland on the edge far more than on the inside. Already a stout run defender, Kneeland wants to use this as an opportunity to demonstrate to the Cowboys, and everyone, that he's not simply a run defender. I want to show them that I can pass rush, too, he said. I'm not just doing that in the MAC, but I can do that here, too. Doing so will allow the Cowboys and Zimmer to continue with their plans of deploying Micah Parsons as a weapon with no true position, one opposing team's gotta find, per Parsons, on a rep-to-rep basis. Marshon Kneeland will get more opportunities after Sam Williams' injury. Cherian Williams, PFT. The Cowboys are expecting a lot from Kneeland. Even before Williams' injury, second-round pick Marshon Kneeland was taking some first-team snaps. The biggest thing is he'll get more opportunities, McCarthy said of Kneeland, and all of our young guys need this training camp, need this atmosphere, but definitely he'll get more opportunities to take advantage of what's in front of him. Kneeland, who had 13 sacks in 23 games at Western Michigan, has played the part thus far in camp. I haven't had what you see from some rookies, when you see them get thrown around, Kneeland said. Hopefully I won't have that. Practice points, go to Guyton, play for one yet Nick Harris and Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Here's what happened during the Cowboys' first padded practice. On the first day in pads, rookie first-round pick Tyler Guyton shined at left tackle with every unit. He is being slowly worked into the first-team unit, but when he had opportunities to line up against Micah Parsons, he provided a stone wall against the Defensive Player of the Year contender. lined up against the more powerful Marshon Kneeland when with the second-team unit, he was able to do the same against his rookie classmate. On a day where the pads show who is ready for the physicality, Guyton passed every test. Nick Harris. This is a big camp for Marshon Wright, who enters his fourth camp, and especially right now with Trayvon Diggs still working back into practice, he's getting a lot of first-team reps on the outside. On Tuesday, Wright was all around the ball, especially in one-on-one drills. He had 2 pass deflections on consecutive reps and nearly had an interception in team drills but was ruled out of bounds. Nick Eatman. Wanya Thomas made another big play here in Oxnard as he picked off a Cooper Rush pass intended for Deuce Vaughn on an out route from the slot and would have probably returned it for a touchdown with nobody in front of him. It's been a solid camp so far for a player who stamped his roster spot a year ago. Nick Harris. Brock Hoffman took a solid first step forward in the center competition with strong play in the middle. Cooper Beebe hasn't been rotating in with the first team as much as Guyton, which I think says more about where the confidence is with Hoffman here in the second week of training camp. Nick Harris. Trayvon Diggs off PUP list, Cowboys to work CB back slowly. Todd Archer, ESPN.com. The Cowboys' All-Pro corner was finally cleared to practice and is starting to work his way back in. Diggs was activated off the physically unable to perform list, but the Cowboys will work him in slowly as he returns from a torn anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee that he suffered before the third game of last season. We'll get him into the jog-throughs and the teaching drills, as the first step, Coach Mike McCarthy said, and then we'll see how we progress into individual drills. Diggs signed a 5-year, $97 million extension last July but played in only the first 2 games before getting injured in practice. He still managed to intercept a pass and force a fumble that led to a touchdown. In 2021, Diggs led the NFL in interceptions, becoming the first Cowboy to do so since Everson Walls in 1981. He also picked off a pass in the first 7 games of that season and was named a first-team All-Pro. He was named to the Pro Bowl in 2022 as well. With Diggs out, Darren Bland led the NFL with 9 interceptions and set a league record by returning 5 for touchdowns. Dallas Cowboys still waiting to unravel the mystery of QB Trey Lance. Tim Cowlishaw, Dallas Morning News. Cowboys' Trey Lance had a rough start to camp. Hopefully he can change things around to give Dallas more clarity at the quarterback position entering the season. The third-team quarterback is guiding his unit down the field in team drill Sunday, closing in on the goal line but running out of time according to the end zone clock. A fan shouts, "Let's go Trey, shake the rust off." Rust, indeed. Trey Lance, the mystery acquisition the Dallas Cowboys made 11 months ago, is perhaps the mystery man of the entire NFL. The quarterback selected with the 3rd pick of the 2021 draft by the San Francisco 49ers, does he still possess the potential that made Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch trade 3 first-round picks to move up to get him? The Cowboys think so, or at least management does. Otherwise, they would not have sent a 4th-round pick to the 49ers a year ago for a guy who has barely dipped his toe into the NFL waters. But trading for him when they did, right at the end of preseason, the Cowboys never got to use him in an August game, and Lance did nothing more than direct the scout team in practice and dress as the number 3 quarterback for every game last season. So now he is here, throwing passes and getting stopped at the 1-yard line as the clock ran out Sunday. Who is he? What is he? Everyone wants to know, not just because of the curiosity that comes with having been such a high pick. The Cowboys have a little decision to make on Dak Prescott, 31 years young as of Monday, and while logic says the Cowboys will extend him at some point, at that level of money, at least $60 million per season, there are no givens. So who is Trey Lance? He's not a bust because he hasn't played enough to be declared anything of the type, not like Denver's Zach Wilson, who was almost reviled by Jets fans for his play and occasionally his attitude. Wilson was picked 1 spot ahead of Lance. Trevor Lawrence went with the first pick and already has been rewarded with a second deal averaging $55 million per year, so at least the Jaguars have decided Lawrence is the real deal even if others are less certain. Dallas Cowboys are still without top wide receiver CeeDee Lamb in training camp but appear to be making some movement on a new deal. Lamb is holding out for a new contract that would land him alongside some of the elite receivers in the league. The Cowboys recently made a new offer to Lamb and are closer to reaching an agreement with their star pass catcher than quarterback Dak Prescott, per Clarence Hill Jr. Was told no deals for CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott yet. But source said Lamb was closer than Prescott. Hill wrote on X, "Remember, a deal is not done until it's done." Randy Gregory is Exhibit A. That's not a major surprise, considering Lamb is not at camp and Prescott is. But it's a good sign that there's been some movement on the negotiation front. Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb cordial in talks. Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones has called the talks cordial despite Lamb's holdout. "We keep having multiple exchanges with CD," Jones said on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. "He actually sent us something late Sunday. We continue to grind away on it. I would characterize both negotiations as very cordial and upbeat. We're optimistic we'll continue to work toward getting something done." Lamb finished last season with a league-high 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns. He wants to be compensated like a top receiver in the league after watching contracts at his position skyrocket around the NFL this offseason. Minnesota Vikings star Justin Jefferson, Miami Dolphins pass catcher Jalen Waddle and Detroit Lions standout Amon-Ra St. Brown recently signed big money deals. Jefferson leads the pack, averaging $35 million per season. Cowboys veteran Ezekiel Elliott, who went through a holdout of his own in Dallas, recently gave Lamb some advice, telling him to have thick skin. "It's really tough because you go through your first 3 or 4 years and you guys are on the same side, and this is the first time that now you're kind of going against each other," Elliott said, per ESPN's Todd Archer. "So, you've got to have a little thick skin. There's some little extra stuff that comes with it, but at the end of the day, we all have the same goal." Dak Prescott not sweating Cowboys contract situation. The Cowboys have called their current contract talks complex. Prescott, Lamb and defensive superstar Micah Parsons are all due for big money deals. Prescott is heading into the final year of the 4-year, $160 million deal he signed with the Cowboys in 2021. If Dallas doesn't reach an extension with Prescott, he'll be a free agent next offseason and hasn't shied away from the idea of playing for another franchise. "I'm gonna say it. I want to be here, but when you look up, all the great QBs I watched played for other teams. That's not something to fear," Prescott said on July 25. "It may be a reality for me one day. It may not be my decision." Prescott topped the NFL in completions, 410, and touchdown passes, 36, amassing 4,516 passing yards last season. He finished second in MVP voting.